The Galaxy S26 Ultra is already making headlines, but not for the reasons you'd expect. Instead of feeling like the future of smartphones, the early renders make it look like a step backward, almost ancient compared to last year's Galaxy S25 Ultra. And that's a shocker because the Ultra series has always been the crown jewel of Samsung's lineup, the phone that sets the standard. But this time, something feels off. Here's why this matters. When people buy an Ultra phone, they're not just buying specs. They're buying prestige, design, and the sense that they've got the most advanced smartphone on the planet. That's been the Ultra identity. But with the S26 Ultra, Samsung seems to be stripping away what made the Ultra unique. Instead of pushing design forward, they've rounded off the sharp, boxy edges that gave the S25 Ultra its bold, premium look. And the result? A device that looks more like an iPhone knockoff than a confident Galaxy flagship. Let's talk about those changes. The most noticeable difference is the rounded corners. Gone is the iconic squared design that gave the Ultra its personality. Samsung seems to be chasing Apple here, leaning into softer edges that feel less Ultra and more generic. And while design is subjective, for many fans, this change makes the phone lose its identity. Then there's the rear camera module. On the S25 Ultra, Samsung delivered a clean, minimalist design with lenses that seemed almost seamlessly embedded into the back. But on the S26 Ultra, the camera bump looks like it was pulled straight out of 2021. It's bulkier, less refined, and it clashes with the modern design language we've come to expect from a flagship. Samsung might have engineering reasons for this change. Rumors suggest it's tied to new camera upgrades, but visually, it's a downgrade. And for a phone that's supposed to represent the pinnacle of Samsung's innovation, that's disappointing. Even under the hood, Samsung isn't doing much to win people back. The battery is still 5,000 milliamp hours, the same as last year. And while that number sounds fine on paper, it highlights the difference in strategy between Samsung and Apple. Apple is making its iPhone Pro models thicker to fit bigger batteries, giving users longer-lasting power. Meanwhile, Samsung is prioritizing slimness and style over practical improvements. And that trade-off doesn't look great when you're already cutting corners on design. And here's the bigger issue. Samsung is running the risk of making their Ultra phones feel ordinary. The S25 Ultra was bold. It was boxy. It stood out. The S26 Ultra, on the other hand, looks like it could be any other high-end phone in 2025. And when the competition is this fierce, with Google's Pixel 10 series pushing AI features, OnePlus and Xiaomi delivering sleek hardware, and Apple bulking up the iPhone 17 Pro, the last thing Samsung can afford is to blend in. This shift also makes me wonder if Samsung is losing touch with what its most loyal users want. The Ultra brand has always been about ambition, bigger screens, better cameras, unique styling. But the S26 Ultra feels cautious, almost conservative. It's as if Samsung decided to play it safe right when they should have been making bold choices. And that's why, for the first time, some longtime fans are saying they don't feel tempted to upgrade. Of course, this doesn't mean the S26 Ultra will be a bad phone. Samsung will still pack in top-tier processors, high refresh displays, and likely some impressive camera performance. But design matters. Identity matters. And right now, the S26 Ultra looks like it's sacrificing both. Here's my personal take. If you're deep in the Samsung ecosystem, the S26 Ultra will probably still feel familiar and capable. But if you're the kind of buyer who wants the most futuristic, eye-catching phone, this might not be it. Phones like the Google Pixel 10 series or even the latest Xiaomi flagships could end up feeling more exciting and innovative. In other words, the Galaxy S26 Ultra isn't just competing with the iPhone anymore. It's competing with its own legacy. And when you put it side by side with the S25 Ultra, it looks like the new one is stuck in the past, while the old one still feels ahead of its time. Samsung might still surprise us when the phone officially launches. Maybe the camera upgrades will justify the design shift. Maybe the slimmer form factor will win people over in hand. But based on what we've seen so far, the S26 Ultra doesn't scream next generation. It whispers safe bet. And for a phone that's supposed to lead the pack, that's not a great look. The real question now is whether Samsung can afford to play it safe when rivals are taking risks. Because if the S26 Ultra really does end up looking ancient next to the S25 Ultra, then for the first time in years, the Ultra won't feel Ultra at all. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.